Tapere, assessing the regenerative land use and educational needs of a community in a catchment. Researchers and advisors from Reconnecting Northland, Kaipara Harbour Management Group, now Kaipara Moana Remediation, local Polytechnic North Tech and its partner institute Unitech worked together from 2020 to 2022 with a rural community that associates with the Tapere or area in the northern Kaipara around Mangakahia and Taitokerau, Northland, Aotearoa, New Zealand. Generously funded by the New Zealand National Commission for UNESCO, the project sought to understand the educational needs of the community with respect to regenerative land use. The research team asked the community about their needs in this area of practice. The initial feedback very clearly detailed the need for learning to occur in the community, by the community, and for that learning to be hands-on, practical. While the COVID-19 pandemic created challenges, the return of the Parakao school and surrounding whenua led to the development of a community garden in parallel with the project. The modules were run by people local to Mangakahia and the surrounding area, as was the video production, the interviews, and the focus groups. The learning from the interviews and the focus groups that were run after the modules helped to inform the design of a regenerative land use training and education framework, which was fed back to UNESCO and the partnering educational institutes.
Ko maunga koa atu te maunga, Mangakahia te aroa te marae, ngā te rino te hapu me ngā pui te iwi, te reo hau taku ingoa, he te whenua aue, te whenua tūpuna, nei, kei roto i te valley o Mangakahia. Well, the school originally was the Parakao school. It closed a number of years ago because a lot of this whenua is traditionally hapu whenua, belonging to Ngāti Te Rino. Pre that, of course, was Pungias, and the old people talk about this being one of the garden places where Pungia would grow his gardens. So Pungia's Pa's just to the right of here, up on the hill, and that's our connection that we have in terms of the whenua here. We land banked it as part of the Waitangi treaty process, and then ended up getting a lease of it. So we've got a lease of it, just for the purposes of maintaining it, really, keeping it active and getting people involved, I suppose, from the community and doing something here. Yeah, well, that started as one of the first ideas was, what do we do with the land here once we want to be here? And I come up with the idea of just putting together, especially at the time of COVID, where we had trouble getting like things for our old people and the more vulnerable people in the valley, around getting kai and that. So we thought, well, why don't we try and grow our own? Yes. And even better than that, why don't we try doing it in the traditional ways? Yes. You know, so it was sort of about trying to get the community involved in that. So when I went around and interviewed various people through the valley, one of the main things to come up was to make sure that things were practical. They were done in a practical way. They weren't so much interested in theory stuff, but in actually doing things. Yeah. So we come up with the idea of actually putting some sessions together where they're practically showing people what to do at certain times, you know, and when to do them, what you have to do to get things started, things like that. They wanted them local. They wanted them, and because we had the use of the school building, you know, it just seemed the best thing to do. Best use of the place. Back in the day, people always used to talk about how fertile the soil was around here, and there were a lot of people that grew gardens. It wasn't so much farmed, a lot of the whenua around here, especially the Māori land. You know, there was nothing for people to grow like a few acres of crops and stuff, and that fed everyone. Yes. You know, traditionally that's how we did it, and I think the whole idea behind this is to try and move back to those ways. Yes. In regards to our whanaunga JD, well, JD's been a musician most of his life, as long as I've known him. His father used to play with my dad back in the day in bands and stuff like that, you know. Back in the days when they had a guy playing the piano and sing the national anthem before the pitches, you know, that type of thing. So that's how long I've known JD, but But JD also did a lot of film work and was into video production and stuff like that. And when I heard we wanted somebody to do that sort of work, well, I just thought straight away of him. Yeah. Because this is about supporting our own people in our own valley and if they've got the skills, why not get them to do the job? Yeah, we were really lucky to have one of our local contractors, Eden Vuletic. So big shout out to Eden. And he donated his time when he knew it was a community-driven project. He said he'd come and help plough the field or anything he could do to help. He was only too pleased to lend a hand, so we really appreciated. Otherwise, we'd be out there breaking our backs with spades, instead of his big tractor with the plough on the back. So we're really fortunate there.
Regeneration is a central theme for this project. To regenerate, we work with nature, humbly learning what she can teach us. If you look at this diagram, you can see that sustainability isn't good enough. It's at a neutral point. But if you move up the diagram, you'll see that regeneration spirals upwards as we work with nature to improve things dramatically. At the other end, at the bottom end of the diagram, you can see that conventional practices degenerate as they extract value out of the earth, not replacing it. So we can regenerate in lots of places. You will know a little bit about regenerative agriculture, where farmers work with a diverse number of pasture species and they develop practices that reduce the inputs of fertilizers and pesticides. We can also regenerate our communities that have been depopulated over time. The Parakao school will enable us to grow kai for people locally and to help with kai sovereignty.
I think the whānau o runga, ko te mumuha, which is the storm on land, and te āwhātai, which is the storm that starts out at sea. Ka pū mai te reo o te āwhātai, ka pū mai ka wehea, ka pākau kauhia te hauka, gets broken up by the landscape into all these other different types of family of hauka.
Tony Ambler, and I'm currently in Parakao here, been here for 13 years, moved up the island after being born and brought up in Greenhive. I try every year to grow something different, so it keeps me engaged with the garden. With trying times at the moment with the severity of our weather, it's really important for growing boundary trees, shelter trees in order to keep a garden growing. I think it's just something that's inbred in me that, it's got a garden, keep with the earth, keep grounded. Been nearly 28 years in horticulture. I've got a horticultural level 4 advanced, plus experience with being able to take people through their studies as a mentor.
Okay, so my name's Vicky and I'm from here in Parakao, and this is my son, Caleb. I was, I'm interested in because it was in this area, and it was learning about gardening on sort of a much bigger kind of level, like sort of mass gardening out here. And it was with people that are our whānau from this area, so I was really interested in coming to learn knowledge about this area, and also I knew I would learn things about our soil out here, what works best out here, and I sort of just wanted to be a part of this project out here. So we've sort of just utilised our area around our house to learn how to garden, and because we see that everything's going sky high in prices again, and I just wanted to do what my grandparents had taught us. Like, they never sat down and gave us a kind of workshop, they sort of did and we observed, and so I was trying to remember that, but also I knew I would learn through the workshops out here sort of knowledge behind that, and just connecting with people that have got loads of experience. So yeah, that's one of the reasons I come out here.